welcome. It is great to have you here and share with you the words and wisdom from the Akashic Records. I'm Yana Mileva, and I'm consciously working with the energy of the Akashic Records for the past 10 years. This connection has transformed my life and has helped me experience so much more joy, love, and happiness. The Akashic Records are the memory of God. It is an information field that contains within itself everything that happened in the past, everything that is happening in the present, and everything that could happen in the future. During this podcast, I will answer your questions by channeling their answers from the Akashic Records. The information is being given to us by the masters, teachers, and the lords of the Akashic Records. These are beings of unconditional love and light and of highest wisdom. Some of them you know by name, like Jesus, Buddha, Archangel Michael, while some of them you don't know because they have existed on other planets and dimensions. If you'd like to submit a question for me to answer during the podcast, just contact me via my website, joyrightcoaching.com. And if you'd like to receive a personal reading from the Akashic Records, a 1 full hour of dialogue between you, me, and the masters of the Akashic Records on any topic and subject that interests you, you can also book a session from my website, joyrightcoaching.com. And now, let's begin with the questions for today. The first question that I received and I asked for you in the Akashic Records is, what is Ascension? How to achieve it? You know that nowadays many people talk about that the time to ascend has come. So I'm not surprised that the listeners are being interested in this topic. And I'm more than happy to share with you the answer that I received from the masters and teachers and the lords of the Akashic Records. Here it comes. Don't get stressed and confused about that topic, dear ones. Remember that there is much contradictory and confusing information out there given to you with the goal to confuse you and slow you down. But once the ball is rolling, it cannot be stopped. You cannot negotiate with the forces of nature. You can simply learn to live in harmony with them. Ascension is happening, has been happening, and will be happening. Like a child grows, the soul grows. This process of soul growth is called ascension. There are moments of faster growth, like in your teenage years, for example, and there are moments of slower growth, but growth is always there. Do not be deceived that there is now some kind of an ascension train you must hop on time, otherwise you will miss it. The ascension train is not a train you can ever miss, because you're the one driving it, and it will arrive, leave, and move when and where you direct it to. Yes, it is true that right now your collective has already reached a point from where you have better understanding and access to compassion and unconditional love. But let's make a difference between your individual ascension and the ascension of a collective, of a country, a planet, or a galaxy. For your individual ascension to happen, you don't need to do anything else than what you've been doing so far. No matter if you want it or not, your soul, together with your soul's advisors, has prepared a learning and growth path for you, and you're executing it right now. Your only job is to try to live your life as the best version of you. Not that it's an easy thing to do, but it is a clear instruction to follow. For the collective ascension to happen, or so to say, for the collective to reach the next level of spiritual evolution, it is necessary that a big enough number of individuals increase their own vibration, and thus the collective, some increase in vibration, will influence everyone and everything, if they do not fight against it. But here too, you don't need to worry or do anything different than what you are already doing. Live your life and follow your mission to the best of your abilities. There is nothing else you need to do and nothing else you can do. So don't worry about if and when ascension will happen. When you keep on rising your vibration and you grow and learn and expand, you will either achieve your individual ascension or and you will ascend together with your community. The steps you need to take remain the same, one way or another. Your individual ascension depends on you. Your collective ascension depends on the individuals, but their decision will not influence your personal ascension. It's like when you really want to watch a movie and then you find out some other friends of yours also want to watch it. You had already decided to go and watch it no matter what. So, regardless if a friend or two or none will join you, you will go and watch that movie and have a blast at doing so. It is the same with Ascension too. The decisions of the collective's individuals cannot influence your own decision or results unless you allow it to. So you see, there is nothing to stress about and nothing new required from you to do. And we will help each one of you who thinks he or she needs help along the path. In our eyes, you are already a mighty ascended being sitting next to God in heaven. This was the answer to this question. I hope it gave you some inspiration, direction, and peace of mind. And now let us jump to the next question. This question is a little bit more different. The first question was, so to say, looking towards the future, while this next question is rather looking back into the past. The question is, what does it mean to be religious? And here is the answer. There is a guilty feeling behind this question, that by not following the church rules, you are risking making God unhappy with you. You are doubting yourself and thinking that maybe following your own beliefs instead of the beliefs of centuries upon centuries of human beings is a wrong choice. Who are you to say that what the church says is wrong, right? We will tell you who you are, dear ones. You are a child of God. You are an embodiment of the light itself. You are the carrier of truth and the child of love. You are an autonomous being who has the right to self-actualize. Nobody is a higher authority over you than you yourself, not even God. You are your own master. You are your own teacher, your own guardian, and your own king and queen. If someone tells you that you need them, they are either lying to you or are simply confused. All you need is the connection to God and the trust in your own strength. And if someone tells you that God can get angry with you, then this person is also either lying to you or is simply confused. God has only deep love for you and can never get angry with you. Of course, you can cause some misfortune to happen to you via your own actions, but this will then be your own doing and not some kind of punishment from God. There are no unforgivable sins, dear ones. They are only consequences of your own actions. But even then, it is enough for you to repent your actions and ask for help, and you will be forgiven, and all your negative actions will be nullified, and all the effects of your actions will be deleted. This is the power of the unconditional love. God has the power to remove all the negative effects of your actions, but only if your desire to shift into the light is pure and honest. We tell you there is no sin big enough that cannot be forgiven and deleted within the blink of an eye. Living life can be messy at times. Life has predefined rules. For example, every action has an effect. However, it is possible that you got so lost and went so deep into the dark side of life that you cannot see a way out of it, and even then, it is possible with just one pure and sincere call to God to be pulled out of the game, and all will be forgotten, and all will be deleted, and you will emerge pure out of it all and back into your original state of divine love and light. In other words, God is not controlling the game of life too closely, because that was the purpose of the game. You wanted to be separate from God and to experience this separation. But if you ask God, and when you ask him or her, your plea will be answered. So don't worry what a certain religion is telling you is right or wrong. These messages of right and wrong are coming from other humans. We urge you to listen to the messages about right and wrong that come from your own soul and God Him herself. They trump all other messages. But maybe you think you don't hear the voice of your soul. Maybe you think your ears are deaf to the messages of God. We tell you this couldn't be further from the truth. You want to hear your soul? Then close your eyes. Breathe calmly for a few breaths into your heart. And then ask yourself if the direction you're going to is right or wrong for you. You can also hear God's voice. Just close your eyes. Fill your heart with love and gratitude. See this love and gratitude grow and expand beyond your heart and body and up towards the heart of God. Feel this connection between the two of you. Feel the love, protection, and peace that are streaming down to you from this connection. And then open your eyes and start writing on a piece of paper. Write anything that comes to you without judging it. Write for as long as you can, and then read what you wrote. You will see the words of God, the seeds of truth, shining among the rest of the things you wrote. Do this on a regular basis, and the golden seeds will be becoming more and more until you will restore your full-blown connection to the Creator. You do have a direct line to Him, her. Use it, for it has gotten a bit rusty, but it can easily be restored. And now we leave you to talk to God. So, dear ones, this was the second question and the second answer. And I am personally very excited about this answer because you were just given directions how to talk to God, how to talk to your soul, and to receive messages in words and feelings. It is similar the method I'm using to connect to the Akashic Records to channel this information from there. So I can promise you it works. Please try it out. try out what they just gave you as an advice to start your communication with the divine. There is nothing more beautiful than that. Going back home, having this feeling in you. All right, and now I thought maybe it will be interesting for you to hear the story of one of the readings I had with a client of mine. I think this story is fascinating. That's why I would like to share it with you. I hope it's interesting for you as well. I call this story The Village Beauty. Let me tell you more about it. I will miss any names. I will not identify my client because, of course, this is a private thing that happened between us and the Akashic Records. The information coming from the Akashic Records is sacred and it is only for the owner of these records to hear. And of course, also the channeler that is the conduit in the conversation. And here, that is why I will share with you the story because it's quite interesting, but I will not give you any personal details about this particular client of mine. But let's begin. Let me tell you the story of this young man who came to me one day and complained that he has very unhealthy teeth and has many issues with them. He wanted to know what the root cause of this is and how he can improve the state of his teeth. We asked the question in the Akashic Records and immediately came back the question how he is actually taking care of his teeth. He was embarrassed to admit that he actually had a quite poor teeth hygiene. His parents never insisted on him brushing his teeth, and as an adult, despite his sincere efforts, he simply could not force himself to take a good care of his teeth either. So you see, actually, the communication with the Akashic Records is not only one way. The masters and teachers can also ask questions to us. The question in this case, what kind of hygiene the person has. This helped him have more a realization about the situation and his own role in it. Of course, a bad mouth hygiene can easily lead to multiple teeth issues. The young man tried initially to hide this from me as he was embarrassed, but in the records everything is stored, and if it is important, the masters face us straight up with the facts. After clearing this topic, we actually were faced with two topics to discuss and resolve. The root cause of his deep aversion to taking care of his teeth, and then how to resolve it. The masters explained to my client that he had a past life in the Middle Ages in Europe, in which he was born a beautiful woman. The woman was tall, with long straight hair and exceptionally beautiful white teeth. Back then most of the people had terrible teeth, so someone blessed with such good genes was easy to spot. The beautiful woman gained the attention of the local lord, who favored her because of her beautiful teeth, smile, and slender figure. She received many privileges as a result of his attention, and the people in the village became wrathful, jealous of her. Nobody liked her. Nobody wanted to be related to her. She was not the lord's wife, so she was not welcomed in his big house. But she was also not a person of the folk anymore, and did not fit with her fellow villagers either. She had no say in the situation, and she cursed and blamed for everything her beautiful white teeth. Only if she had ugly and sick-looking teeth like everybody else, then the Lord would not have noticed her and poured on her all his unwanted attention. Many years passed, and the beautiful woman got older and died bitter and alone, cursing her teeth for the sad life she thought they brought upon her. Needless to say, the desire to have sick and ugly teeth got transferred to the next life, because it carried in itself the hope of happiness and belonging. My client was quite surprised to hear this, but he felt a relief that his struggle is not simply in his imagination, but has a deep root and meaning. Of course, living in Europe in the 21st century, having beautiful and healthy teeth has no negative consequences. Thus, this pattern of cursing and destroying the teeth was of no service to my client anymore. It was time for this pattern to go, if my client was willing to let it go. And he was. As in most cases, the cure was forgiveness. The masters and teachers explained to him that he needs to forgive himself, the village people, and the Lord for the inflicted pain. They gave him a beautiful forgiveness ceremony, which my client was to follow in order to relieve the old energies. Once the root cause was removed, it was time to give my client a boost towards better teeth health. The masters gave him some practical advices about improving the condition of his teeth. Oil pulling and a special mantra he was to recite while brushing his teeth. The ritual of teeth hygiene was to become a celebration of life and not a sign of destruction and death. The importance a thing has is simply the importance we assign to it. And if I may say, oil pulling is a great way to improve the health of your teeth, your gums, and your mouth state. And just like any other part of our body or an organ, our teeth long for our love and attention. It is not weird to speak with love to your teeth. It is, as a matter of fact, a necessity if you want them to grow and stay healthy and happy. Just like children thrive when loved, so does our body. So, dear ones, this was everything that I had prepared for you for today. I hope you enjoyed the channeling from the Akashic Record as well as the story that I shared with you about my client. If you have yourself any questions that you'd like me to ask for you in the Akashic Records, feel free to contact me from my website, joyrightcoaching.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to donate something to me for my work from the PayPal button that you can find linked in the description of this podcast. I'm looking forward to our next meeting, and until then, I leave you in good health and spirits. Bye bye.